everything that's going to go on. They're okay with it, opposed to somebody just walking through the door. Yes.
Well, go ahead.
So, can you make reservations for months in advance, or you have to do week by
No, I don't
Wait,
know. We're all
Mostly because we don't know.
We're all new at
because we
this,
don't know
you
what's
know.
going to happen week to week.
The thing is that somebody could make a reservation for
They usually just make it like right
We're
at the time that they've been here, and then that way they go to
We're
Charles.
we're doing week by week but if
Absolutely.
yeah. So
Well, can I take my reservation back from last week?
No, but you can put it on, and that way we just
we'll just put you on the waiting list. Take my take my word.
Okay,
Take
go
my
ahead,
brain.
Rita.
All right, we're a little crazy.
They're
Okay.
they're anxious to do their thing.
Okay.
And go
All
ahead.
right. So that being said, Walt Weiss is teaching that class called Revolutionary Agreements, and it
And it's
starts
in
on
person
Monday, the 13th. It will be here. And
Yes?
Yes. You do need the book, and I think he has it. We don't have it. So, right.
Oh, you can use.
Yeah, and it's $75 for the 4 weeks, and it is right here, and you need to do it in advance. Okay.
Right. It starts on the 13th.
It starts on Monday, and then Patrick and I are doing a one-nighter based on Raymond Charles Barker's book called Money is
You know
God in Action.
Barker, power of decision, baby.
Called Money is God in Action. The book is back there. It's $5.
No, we never did this particular.
No, it's called Money is God in Action. We thought it would be a good thing during this time. And if you don't like the word money and you don't like the word God, come to the class because put them both together. It's
I said
pretty
that
powerful.
to somebody. If you're afraid of the word money and you're afraid of you got something against God, then you need to just jump on in. Yeah, yeah. So, and then the third one is Diane.
Diane's teaching a class, a creative visioning class. I know she's going to do a visioning during it, and she doesn't know, I don't know what else, but I know it has to do with creativity. I'm
she'll
sure it'll
put-
be wonderful. And we're just doing one-nighters, yeah. And then that and spiritual cinema, which we don't know what's going to be yet. If anybody has any suggestions, please feel free.
Hamilton, you'd have to do five
First, it's too
5
long.
months of it
It's
just to
2
be able to
hours
get
and
to know
39
every
minutes
word.
long,
that was-
and yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
it's a good idea.
She was
Anyway.
kidding.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would love it, but.
Did you watch it? It was.
All right. It's long, right? It's hard to watch because it's so fast, right? It's a lot.
Well, yeah. And Jamie got upset and she left it in her mission and she realized she was home. She got in her car and said, I'm not going to stay for the second. Oh, I live here. She pulled it around. It's like I'm here all week. Yeah. That was a good bit, wasn't it? Thank you. I think. Oh, Sue Wood. Why you look like infinite intelligence going?
No, Joe's nodding. Is that it?
The thinker.
All right.
Okay, I think we are. Does everybody feel okay? You ready to start? Rita?
Yes.
That's not going to work for me. I don't mind that
I'll
you.
go by Rob then. I don't care.
No, I don't mean you had to leave there, but I mean, come on, you guys. You walk up here. DJ walks up and says, "Hi, everyone. How are you doing?" I just want.
That's the way it is in the casting world. Go ahead.
Where are you going over there for? Oh. Okay, forget all that silliness. Oh, we have been definitely spirits in rebellion. And it feels good, and it is good, because there is a spirit within each and every one of us that is so filled with the frequency of the divine, which is absolutely rebellious. So what I know right here in this moment is tonight is perfect. I know that it unfolds with, just such spiritual gusto. And I know that each person who expresses themselves through these power talks, call them whatever you want, just expression of the divine. It's all perfect, and it's already been done in the quantum field because there's no time or no space, so it's already been done, and I already claimed it as successful, as powerful, as meaningful, as lovable, as vulnerable, as all of the feelings that were expressed when we first came in. And I know that laughter is always a part of the divine spirit that allows us to just relax, just to relax and just live in the gratitude of tonight and the gratitude of this divine moment. So I say, let's have at it, let it unfold. Each student, each person, one by one, and it's absolutely wonderful. I take a special moment to thank Rob, who is back there allowing this to try and capture spirit in action. So I just say thank you, thank you, thank you. And we just let that be. We breathe into this evening with gratitude, and we let it be, and so it is. Yes.
All right, so we're just going to go for it. And you want to go first? Okay, DJ will go first. And what I'd like to do is when she's done, if we have any questions for her, we're allowed to ask her questions. Okay.
Are you timing?
Um,
Are you guys okay?
Oh, I can time. As long as you're not going to go over 7 minutes, I'm fine.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to sit somewhere. So I can social. I don't have to social with you. There you go.
Wait. We got to use
Oh, yeah, sorry. There you go. Can we use a mic stand? They don't really fit in there, but we can.
This is fine for me. These spirits in rebellion were willing to follow their individual paths of healing to the point where they could support others in their healing. Like how Henry David Thoreau healed from the devastation he felt from the loss of his beloved, and eventually went on to inspire generations of others to have happy hearts. In my own smaller way, I am doing this too. Healing has been an essential part of my life. In other words, if it had not started healing emotionally in my youth, I'm clear I would not be alive now. There was a lot of emotional and physical damage to me as a child. My mother pointed out to my cousin how I would hold my breath until I passed out when I was just a few years old. You can imagine how bad life must have been for me to come up with that habit. I believe healing began for me when I got some time away from my parents and with nurturing adults, like my grandmother and the women that the church asked to support me, and the leaders of the Girl Scout type program that I became obsessed with. Even in my late teens, one friend said that I was so flexible that I was mush. I felt so insecure. I was frozen with fear about making decisions. I wasn't even able to make a choice about what colors I liked. So, no surprise, I chose a lifestyle where decisions were made for me. I became a Mormon. My church leader asked me to leave the area because he thought I was distracting his son from becoming a missionary. So I moved from Lubbock, Texas, to the Bay Area of California. Once I was in the hotbed of personal growth, I soon learned how much I needed healing. I'm so grateful that I was willing to explore many venues on how to heal. This included 12-step meetings, support groups, private counseling, programs like LifeSpring, sex, love, and intimacy workshops, vision quests, self-hypnosis, therapeutic guided hallucinogenic experiences, and numerous other workshops and programs that were plentiful to choose from there. And I believe it has worked, with some ups and downs over the years, and with lots of support from others, including CSL. In general, I feel whole, balanced, healthy, and sound. And I went from having mostly disastrous relationships to mostly glorious ones. I've even inspired and facilitated growth and healing in others. A few people have shared that I have saved their lives or radically turned them around for the better. All of the spirits in rebellion supported others by helping them to heal, and reflecting on what they did that they all had in common was to see others as they chose to believe God sees us, perfect, whole, and complete. They rebelled by rejecting the common thoughts of the time that we were sinners and that the afflictions were punishment from God. Wikipedia states that healing is the process of restoration of health from an unbalanced, diseased, damaged, or unvitalized organism. And dictionary.com says that, plus to bring an end or conclusion to conflicts between people or groups, usually with the strong implication of restoring former enmity, settle, reconcile, as in healing the rift between them. So in other words, healing takes place both within us and between us. About 7 years ago, I studied how to support others in healing with a few-year-long program called Emergence Care. I was so impressed with how it had healed my physical body and was so emotionally supportive for me that I wanted to be able to share it with others. The method was simple but not easy. It took many months of practice, but I eventually was able to hold the place of surrendering to spirit to be able to effectively channel that loving energy to another person. And we were taught to see that person as perfect. I love how Joe Dispenza says in his Reconditioning the Body to a New Mind meditation, says that the mind of the healer gives life to life. Or I could say love to life. As with these other spirits in rebellion, giving love to myself and to others has been the key to healing.
Questions?
Any question?
Just leave the microphone.
I didn't know you were a Mormon.
I know.
Yeah, for a while.
You knew she was,
Yep.
right?
I know. There's a lot of ex-Mormons in this center. Not a lot, but more than I would think. Thank you. That was beautiful.
Sue wants to go next.
Do you want me to fix this mic because we could use this other mic?
Yeah, Sue's gonna need it.
I don't know. Hold on a second.
Hey, go, stop.
Oh, this one's not on. Why is this one not on? Oh.
It should be. No, that one. That one.
Actually,
That one.
what?
That one.
Oh. Oh, this one's working. I don't know, Rob, if it'll be fine for Rob, because we didn't check this mic. So.
Let's check it right now.
I don't know where the thing is till we get it. How do you get this up, Melissa?
Who said?
Charles, somebody?
No, here you go. I got,
I think just,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I was trying to pull
quick
up.
release.
no, it's a. There you go.
What's he doing?
What is wrong with all of you people tonight? I was cleaning it from Sunday.
There's nothing gonna, you're not gonna clean
I-
that thing.
It's because I was rubbing it too loud.
All right.
Jeez.
Sue, come on up.
Peggy, I just love you.
Honey, you left your phone up here, so.
All right, I'll be your cleaner.
I wanna make sure that it's with the right
Oh,
length.
wow, I can't even see.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
A little.
Is it working?
Yeah, just talk loud.
I
Say
can't.
something.
Say something
Can
louder.
you hear?
Say something.
Go ahead.
Can you hear her?
Louder? I don't mind holding the mic.
Yeah, no, you can hear it. You
You
can hear
can
you.
hear.
Yeah, if you feel better holding it, you don't have to stand behind it. It's up to you. You
No,
can't bring
I
the-
think
the-
she's fine. She can be heard.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I can hear
If you guys can hear
her.
me.
As long as Rob can hear her.
Can you move it?
Okay. I woke up the other morning very early. I fell back asleep and I dreamt that I did this program without any preparation whatsoever. It was what you might call a nightmare, a hot mess. And I was very, very happy when that dream got up because I couldn't just fake what I needed to say. Ernest Holmes says, "The greatest good that can come to anyone is the forming within him of an absolute certainty of himself and of his relationship to the universe." I love that absolute certainty of himself, knowing without a doubt who I am and how I'm connected. Forever removing the sense of heaven from being outside himself. Reverend Rita recently said, "What does a picture of your life look like?" I had some thinking about that. In one of our beginning lessons about the men and women who influenced Ernest Holmes, it was said that Ernest did not continue the study with Christian Science because he disagreed with the organization, with Mary Baker Eddy's absolute spiritual authority, and with the belief that the physical universe was not real. Yes, it's all God. Yes, it's all made of intelligent energy. And yes, we are experiencing manifestation in bodies and minds that often become ill because of our conscious and subconscious beliefs. Science of mind teaches the law of cause and effect. The cause of many of our illnesses is usually our own thinking and life choices. And the healing of our physical and mental bodies is in changing our thinking, a willingness to make changes in our belief system. Ernest says, to break the bonds of apparent necessity and see life as one continuous experience of the divine, of the infinite self. Stop doing what we think we should do, what's expected us and have always done, and get on with living this divine, beautiful life. Most of you know I spent a week in Poipu recently attending an online science and spirituality workshop. We began at 5:45 every morning and ended at about 1 or 2 in the afternoon. The speakers were Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, Anita Morjani, Lynn McTaggart, and a number of others. For me, reading their books, attending the seminar is like science of mind, up to date, current, and in a language that mostly I understood. There were some medical terms and things I have no clue what they were talking about. But I would like to share a little bit of what impressed me with some of the speakers while I was there. The conference began with Dr. Joe Dispenza stating that we are the creators of our lives, and it's important that we wake up and consciously create with intention and clear vision our own futures. He says if we repeat the same thoughts and the same behaviors, we will continue to have the same experiences, right? And it's important that we be aware of what we are thinking, as our thoughts are our map to our future. Think, imagine, and have a vision of what it would be like to be healthy, wealthy, and have loving relationships. I love this. Dr. Bruce Lipton stated that he believes 75 to 90+% of all doctor's visits are related to stress, and that 99% of all disease is related to lifestyle, environmental signals, and lack of harmony, more stress. He passionately recommended that we find and live in the honeymoon state. That honeymoon state is like falling in love. Been a long time, but I remember. It's like making love again. But I remember. It's that state where everything's perfect. Everything's peaceful. There are no mistakes. There are no, everything's in order. And he also stated that he believes that we are in heaven right now. And we're able to create love, health, and harmony because we're in heaven. Question was, if we really believe that this is heaven right here, and we weren't dying to get to heaven, what could we create? What kind of lives, if I got up in the morning and went, this is heaven, what do I want it to look like today? What kind of lives could we? We are, as DJ said, perfect, whole, and complete. We have never been touched by the chaos of our own thinking or anything else. One of my favorite speakers was Anita Morjani. As most of you know, she had a near-death experience in 2006. She died. She went beyond the veil and actually had a meeting with her father where cultural, being Indian, and male-female childhood hurts were healed with her father before she decided to come back and enjoying her body again. She spoke at great length about the super important need for self-love. We are more than our 5 senses. We are more than our bodies. We are pure, unconditional love. It's imperative that we trust ourselves, that we listen to our intuition about our own individual healing, health, and wellness. A couple of the suggestions that spoke to me that she made about self-care was taking time and not feeling guilty about doing something just for me. About being okay if people are disappointed in us. Boy, that's a big one for me. I want you to like me. I don't want you to be unhappy. I don't want to disappoint, but it's important, and I don't need to jump through hoops to make you get your approval. To focus on living life to its fullest. That's something I'm working on really hard right now and having a great time. And find a tribe. People who think like we do, who believe like we do. This is for Patrick. What is the world I choose to marinate in today? It may not look like anybody else because my body, my wants, and my desires and my beliefs are mine and unique to me. Bringing this all back to Emma Curtis Hopkins, she writes that we need not wait to have the free life that we want. I love her statement. There is good for me, and I ought to have it. That includes perfect health, wealth, relationships, and purpose. My healing is looking within, choosing to believe and have faith and accept this good that I ought to have. My healing is to express my life to its fullness, to trust myself, to love myself, to care for myself. My healing is surrounding myself with like-minded tribe. I am healed and whole right now. I am the good of God.
Do we have any questions? Oh. Yeah, she just told us. Peggy just told us. It was hitting, and now it's not going to anymore. But I do need the other mic. Can I have one of those mics? That way you'll have a choice. And so what we'll do is pop this off. That way anybody's got their whatever. And as a matter of fact, you guys should probably do your own because it's my fingers. So you can use this. You can wipe that.
What is that plugged into?
Nothing. This is our mics.
Oh, where's the top to it?
I took it off.
Took it off, okay.
So anybody who needs to do this, do. Oh, why is this not on now? Because I didn't turn it on. Okay, so when you come up here, you have a choice of this, and just leave that there if you're not using it, and then you have your wipe here, or not. Who's next? There you go. Are you using this one, I take it? This one? Oh, you're going to stand in front of it. Okay, good.
It's a little too tall for me.
Huh?
Pull it out more if you want.
What?
I'm not going to use the podium.
Right.
No, I'm just gonna.
So, but what I want to make sure, but you won't.
Hello, hello,
you
hello.
You have to check. Yeah.
Check, 1, 2, 3.
That's good.
Okay.
Okay.
All righty. It's miraculous when I see major changes or growth in someone or something. Circa 1959, I'm now 7 years old, deep in Catholic catechisms. I hear about these crazy people who think they can heal others like Jesus did in the Bible. My school friends and I are snickering and giggling at the thought of, no one but Jesus can do that. He's the only begotten Son of God. The nuns, our teachers, are so proud of us. Fast forward 2020, just turned 68. I smile because clearly I was one of those crazy people in the flashback. I am the crazy today, as you will come to understand. Classes like Roots, the History of New Thought Movement, is a reminder that growth, change, is a marvelous thing. It's a miraculous thing. Quimby, Mesmer, Eddy, I'm just dropping names. Hopkins, Fillmore, Brooks, Emerson, Troward, Kramer. These are folks who deeply believed and followed their minds and hearts to do the healing work. They did so at a time in history of strict religious discipline. They were mocked by the majority and powerful groups of people, like the Puritans or the Calvinists. What fascinated me are the women warriors, way ahead of their time, not even considering their gender as females. And people listened, women like Mary Baker Eddy, Emma Curtis Hopkins, Myrtle Fillmore, Nona Brooks, again name dropping, Melinda Kramer and Emily Cady. Their names are supposed to roll off my tongue, but they're not really. But, this was the time when the suffrage movement was going on. It was around the late 1800s and the early 1920s. It was 1920 when I think nationally the woman was, it was their first time to ever vote. And so I had to really remind myself of that time when these women and when these healers did their thing, because it was at a time when it was just really sort of like closeted. It's like the LGBTQ movement. Can you imagine it happening at that time? It's just unbelievable. So both men and women healers seem to have at least one thing in common. Each had his or her own healing to do before they went on to heal others. They were sickly, as I remember. Consumption, was it? Each believed so much in that healing that he or she found a process of healing that went out to preach that healing. Men like Troward and Emerson, they used their words to enlighten, to think differently, to take responsibility for one's life. Many people heard and listened and believed these healers. Many went on to become healers themselves, one of them being Ernest Holmes. If they are crazy, then I am in that crazy group, as they believe, and I believe in empowered thinking. I believe in practical, useful thinking on a higher level. I believe in transcending reality into the divine. I believe in knowing that I am the universe, as the universe is in me, as me. In knowing that the universe, the higher power, the good, the God, is one and the same. In knowing that God is not a person, that God is not outside of me, that I do not ask God for favors to see if I was good enough for him to grant me the favor. I can now say with ease and grace, and with such deep belief, that I am the universe, that I am spirit, that I am God. I am responsible for my choices. I am never alone. I am always creating. I am conscious, aware, and mindful. I know that there is only one life, and that is God's life. I breathe love, harmony, joy, wholeness, and all the truths of the highest good. I am deeply, deeply grateful for everything, even the challenges in my life. I know that these truths are already a part of me. Sometimes I need to be reminded. I let go of having full faith and trust that it is already done, and I affirm it to be so. New Thought Movement has come a long way, and so have I. Both are miraculous in my eyes.
And out of all of the people that we went through, we obviously didn't go through them all, which is the one that you would say, connected with you as you are living your life now, is in that excellent way of describing what it's moved you through? Is there any of them that you go, yeah, I can see I'm incorporating some of that in my life right now?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Emerson. I've always been in love with Emerson and Thoreau. Transcendentalism goes way back with me, but Roseanne kind of renewed it. And for it to be part of the New Thought movement as I see it now, as I relate it, because I didn't relate to him the way I do now. Right. And so it just makes much more sense, and I can see where Ernest Holmes really related, and really took that self-responsibility to science of mind, right? But I love Emma because she's Emma.
You can relate to Emma. So before the, yeah, that's good. Thank you. Give it up. Give it up. But since I started with her, but I would have also liked to know from the people that just went, the two people. Is there one that you connect to?
Emma.
Emma, Suzanne. How about you, DJ? Emma. Emma. It's,
Class on Emma.
how about?
Not that Emma.
Oh, that's that Emma. Yes. Okay, who's going next? Okay, which one do you want? That one or this one?
I could take this one. I'll just.
You want the pulpit? The pulpit. The yeah.
I need my glasses, man.
You want it?
I gotta get my glasses.
The pulpit. The pulpit. I haven't heard the word pulpit in a. So, are you going to do it like this?
No, I'm gonna hold it.
Oh, okay. Do you want to wipe it?
Okay.
No, I'm just asking.
Well,
Trying to
I
catch
can
what
do it.
the
I know. It's like.
okay.
Hello, baby. Chantilly lace. Yeah, we just did we do these Kiss play shops every few weeks, and we did Beatles today. So it was so much fun. So I did Roll Over Beethoven and Can't Buy Me Love. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, so I started to write my history, and I realized, okay, this is not a good thing to do. So I decided I was going to just talk about what I learned from the mystics from this class and how I can apply them, what they've learned, to my science of mind treatment practice. Okay. So from Ernest Holmes, who represents the love, I learned that spirit, and thus humans, creates only from first cause. Divine is immanent. It is within and throughout everything. The law of cause and effect responds to our minds. The remedy for all defect and disorder is metaphysical. There is no absence of good or God. We can overcome negative relative conditions by learning to control our thoughts. And we create the conditions of our life by the way we think about life. So that's what I got from Ernest Holmes this time. From Thomas Troward, who represents the law, I got that spirit is a hologram, whole and complete in every atom of existence within, through, and around us. There is not a spot where God is not. Spirit thinks matter into being. It is alive everywhere and wants to feel alive and enjoy life. And we are spirit. So that's what we want to do. From Anton Mesmer, who was very cute as Alan Rickman. There is a responsive, invisible influence called magnetism that exists between the planets, the earth, and animated bodies. If this influence becomes unbalanced, then illness results. Man's imagination, when properly aligned, can alter the imbalance and restore health or wholeness. From Ralph Waldo Emerson, a man is what he thinks about all day long. Nobody can bring you peace but yourself. Once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. Prayer is the contemplation of the facts of life from the highest point of view. It is the soliloquy of a beholding and jubilant soul. It is the Spirit of God pronouncing his works good. From Robert Bitzer, there is but one mind, God or spirit, everywhere present in its entirety of being. Each of us is the creative center of his or her individualized universe. The success of our method depends upon our complete dependence upon our spiritual mind absoluteness. It is consciousness that heals. No matter what you are attempting to do, always get the vision before you begin to work. See the completed demonstration. We shall demonstrate in consciousness what we think, not what we desire or want.
we depend on mind, God or spirit. It is done unto you according to your belief. From Emma Curtis Hopkins. The first name of God is good. I am seeking my good, and my good is my God. The principal point of truth is that satisfaction comes through mind. Finally, from Phineas. Disease is an error in the mind. Belief alone makes us sick, and it is belief alone that heals. Man is made up of truth and belief. Disease is a mistaken belief based on what the doctor said. Correct the belief, and a cure takes place. So there's another statement that really resonates with me because I've been dealing with my own health issue for the past 25 years. If your mind has been deceived by some invisible enemy into a belief, you have put it into the form of a disease, with or without your knowledge. Well, that made me extremely depressed, I gotta tell you, because I feel like, okay, I mean, this was really a very uplifting class. It really was, but the way I've been feeling the past week and just what I was going to write about and what I feel like I failed because I thought that I was really doing great, and I'm not. I mean, things are not demonstrating. So, anyway. But I'm not finished yet. So over the years, I've investigated and utilized many, many physical and energetic healing modalities with some success. But it wasn't until I started studying the science of mind principles that I truly understood what I didn't know and needed to learn and understand. So what I knew before the course was that I am an individual expression of God. God is thought, which is first cause. It's what everything stems from, and it flows through me and all of us. And also what I think I become, because God can only say yes. So the big ahas that I had in this course is that I am my own spiritual authority. I must believe and feel God's presence within as I envision what I want to demonstrate, because I make visible the invisible through my thoughts and feelings. Okay, somehow I'm getting that mixed up. Gratitude is the reset button to detach from the ego. Okay, this is my own quote. Gratitude is the reset button to detach from the ego and enter the quantum field where all is possible. Fear is giving into the idea of absence. There is no apartness from God. Okay, and then this I kind of created this one myself from the dictionary. There is only wholeness, and the way I can heal is to think, feel, envision, and know that I'm whole, complete, entire, unbroken, uncut, physically, emotionally, and mentally sound, free of defect, impairment, disease, and deformity. As an individual expression of God, I am a coherent system of parts, fitting and working together in oneness. And so I had this epiphany the other day that I see that I don't love myself enough to feel whole. And it's like, I don't know what to do about it. I mean, it really makes me want to weep, I got to tell you. I need to learn how to identify my areas of resistance and route out where I hold myself back and believe in absence. Those pockets of fear that keep me perpetually stuck and prevent me from truly embracing my wholeness. My goal is to be so filled with spirit that the wholeness pours out of me all the time, that I can feel. So basically, more layers of the onion have been peeled back through this course, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity to deepen my knowledge and understanding, and I look forward to applying these principles, hopefully with some success.
And who was
That was really good.
who was your one that, did you have one that you,
I really liked Troward a lot,
I thought you did.
and I also liked Emerson too.
Yeah.
It really lit me up. Yeah.
Love and Law. I
What?
just-
You wanna
I
say
said,
something?
no, I just want to say Love and Law. That's the two. Do you have a question? Okay. Pop.
Well, I just am wondering if you see all the progress that you have made, because when I see you, I just see so much wonderful transformation. You know, it's
Really?
amazing to me. Yeah. I mean, I mean, it wasn't like that long ago, but it was a while back, when I feel like I kind of just was starting to get to know you. And then the huge part happened with the bracelet. It just seemed like,
Except for I still complain. Yeah.
no, but the bracelet seemed, it just was like, wow, you started really, really changing. And to me, I see a different person. And I just wondering,
thank
do you
you.
feel, it sounds like you've maybe
Well,
got a
because
little bit
I
of
have a
heart-
very specific health issue that I really want to heal. I want it to be cured, and it's not.
yeah.
And it's just, okay. But thank you, DJ, for the reflection.
I ditto what
appreciate-
DJ has said because I've known you for a few years now, and you're not the same person that walked into this center. You're totally more centered and totally more open and receptive and bright and just all of that stuff. So I would just invite you to stop trying to heal the condition. Basically, just stop trying to heal the condition and work on just knowing and feeling God and that part of it. And the condition will go away. Because I think it's like we try to heal the condition, like I'm going to fix my arm, I'm going to fix my heart, I'm going
Well,
to fix, and no,
I
I'm just
yeah,
saying,
understand.
I'm just saying, okay? Anyway,
So
that's all I want to
also-
offer.
Well, I'm just, okay, because the condition is how I can measure it, but what I'm doing every day is I'm just going into wholeness and feeling wholeness. I'm not thinking about anything
Right.
other than just wholeness. And I feel like I got my pipes open, like they're big sewer pipes now,
Yeah.
of like God coming in. But so I feel it, and I do the Joe Dispenza thing where like I'm really in the field, and I'm like, okay, I'm just like this amazing wholeness, just light, and feels great, and I'm just really getting to that. But then I figure, well, it should manifest in some way, right?
Right.
Don't forget one of the things Joe Dispenza says. If you're looking for it, you've already separated yourself from it. Listen to
Looking
what he
for-
says that.
looking-
If you're looking, like if you get out of one of those beautiful states and then all of a sudden you're looking to see if your blood pressure's gone down or whatever, then you've automatically separated yourself from it. And I'm not saying you shouldn't get results, but
Yeah.
all right. So I'm just saying, because you're frustrating yourself,
just
and
saying.
you're already made,
Better.
you've already made so much progress.
I know, I guess
And one
because
day,
I
one day, what's going to happen, Melissa, is you're going to all of a sudden wake up one day and you're going to be healed.
But it's just that I
'Cause you already are.
I still am up against not just the condition, but it's just the fear and all the
Yeah,
way
of
that
course.
habitual thinking and all that. I mean, it's like, I just want to like exercise it.
Okay, so 3 points with this that'll help everyone. First of all, you did something really wonderful for all of us. It doesn't matter how we see you, Melissa. It doesn't matter how DJ sees. It doesn't matter. All that matters is how Melissa sees herself. And that's the biggie. And so, yes, it's wonderful to have reinforcement, but the real deal, and all of us can learn from it, I'm sure that we can all feel that thing. It's like, yeah, I'm really glad you see that in me, but there are times that I don't see it in myself, so I can't grasp it. But we're in an incredible time, and I would also ditto everything that has been said. But the most important thing is you say, these are the things that I took away from the class. And if you read those again, those would be the things that I would say, that's where you're at, and to fill up with spirit. And so let's say, and I've talked to you about this before, we're not plucking out our past or the stuff that, and you know that, we're not plucking that away. That will meet you in a surprise cup of coffee in the morning when you thought that you were in the most illuminated experience. And then, I know that for myself. And all of a sudden it'll hit you in the face again. And so then you're going, oh, wow. So something that I would invite us all, and what I love about this is you're speaking for everyone. You're speaking for everyone. And I'm bold enough to say that, or we all wouldn't be in the same room right now, is that the more we can fill up with spirit, and you have, see, what's interesting, Melissa, about you, that I love about you, is that you already give us your answer to what your dilemma is. And then you're going, but I don't know. And yet you just gave us a beautiful, beautiful list of things that are going to help you and assist you. So where we're at now is that there has to be that trust. And it always reminds me of the Napoleon Hill, another great New Thought person. He talks about the one that when they were looking for gold, there's this story of the guy who's looking for gold, and he buys all of his stuff, and he goes after it, and they told him it was here, and then he went there, he's like, yeah, and he spent all of his money. And he went in there and he says, I give up. He sold everything, sold all of his tools, all of his excavation things, and he sold it. And the person walked 1 foot ahead who bought it and put it in, and it sprung all of the golden stuff that he was looking for. And that's what sometimes it is. They say, and usually, I know for me, when I have allowed myself, and sometimes it's frustration. I'm getting a feed from when I was in the mainland. I forgot what Rita and I were going through, some probably financial. But it was something that was, and I remember walking down this beautiful street, and I went, I don't really give a fuck anymore. I'm done. And I just was and I let go, and it was almost like, psh, like the balloon popped. And I was like, and next thing I knew, my life changed. Because it wasn't that I was condemning life, it was that I was stopped working so hard. I said that to me today.
Fearful.
Yes, right? And so I really trust it. And so my invitation to all of us is if we went 101 steps to do it, go 102. And every time you wake up, Melissa, any of us, anytime you wake up, you say, I will not take no for an answer. I live in a yes universe. And so if today is the worst one, and if you feel the worst, and there's one thing out of your vocabulary, and I'm done with you. Here it is.
I am a failure.
There's no failure. Not even.
That out.
There's just a breakdown before the breakthrough.
I know.
That's right. That's what I'm
And that's
talking
what
about
I've
with
been going
Melissa.
through for the
She
past
could
week.
write a freaking book on all of this stuff because she knows
So
all the
dramatic.
answers. She knows all the answers.
I know,
and
but I
and
can't
so
apply it to
why
my
don't you
life.
allow yourself
Stop
to be
it.
like
That's
butter? Why don't you let yourself be like butter?
Like a big
Wait a
stick
minute.
of butter.
You got to stop that language because you are applying it to your
I
life.
know.
All right?
Well,
you are
okay,
applying
so
it.
the bottom line,
Yes.
how
You want to be
We're- no,
healed
no, no.
now
so
is your bottom.
the whole thing with Emma Curtis Hopkins was saying, there is no the conditions and reality, like matter is not real. Okay, but we're still like, we're still matter.
Right.
So-
But how are
so-
you gonna be spirit because we haven't let spirit speak fully yet? We keep saying we're not trying to say I love this. This is a great thing to be in. This costume's wonderful. I intend to stay in it for a while, but I don't want to stay in it the way it's been for me even lately with
No,
all
I
the
know.
but so you let spirit take I heard it today in meditation. Will you get out of the way and let me move through you?
And it's not that matter is not real. Matter is energy.
Right.
It's one thing.
But yeah, I
And
know.
so energy can change. And that's what the whole basis of this teaching is that, and Joe Dispenza's work
So-
too, is that it's all energy.
It's just having to get out of the way so that
Exactly.
the energy
Well-
can do it. But so I
But
just
there
figured that out.
remember the butts? There's no butts.
I have to figure it
Too many
out.
big
I don't-
butts. And
You don't
But
really
I
have-
am nothing if not.
All right, let's go.
You don't really have to figure anything.
Give it up for Melissa who has all the answers. She has all the answers, folks. We love you.
Yeah, we love you all so much.
Peggy?
No,
No.
stop this language that you're using.
We
You're-
love you.
You're a beautiful.
I mean, if you weren't such a
addition.
failure, we would be able to. Wait. Now, see, this is what's interesting. We wouldn't let anyone walk up to us and say, "You're a failure." You'd say, "What the hell are you talking about? Me? Yeah, I'll take you down." And so then, but we'll talk to ourselves that way, will we not? Hello, I'm here all week. Hello, Peggy.
Hi,
Do
can
you-
you hear me on this microphone, or should I hold it in my hand? Talk some more. He says, talk some more.
But I can hear you. But it's if Rob can hear you, though.
Do you want me to,
Okay,
you
good.
can hear it
Perfect.
pretty good, okay. So the way I started with this presentation is I took something from the Book of Awakening from Mark Nepo.
He talked about how Michelangelo sculpted and how he saw the sculpture waiting, already complete in the uncut stone. His job was to carve away the excess, freeing the thing of beauty just waiting to be released. And I just saw this as my soul within me, my spiritual being within the human shell, but the slab of stone all around. And what was the slab? It was the excess stone was my beliefs, my emotions, my illness, and my fear. New Thought is all about relying what's on the inside. One cause. There's truth is within. I chose relationships, experiences, and teachings in my life to chip away at the parts of my uncut stone. Some experiences left deep cuts. Some did fine, delicate work. I attracted all these sculptures in my life by my thoughts, by my words, and my intentions. There were no mistakes. It was all part of the awakening of the universal consciousness I chose to be part of. In the book, This Thing Called Treatment, Ernest Holmes developed spiritual mind treatment as a practical tool to allow one to use the law of mind to change his or her outward experience and therefore improve their conditions. I can change my former beliefs, my emotions, my illnesses, and my fear by using spiritual mind treatment. I speak only of positive outcomes and release what no longer serves me. I express my gratitude and release my word into law, and so it is. God is perfect and complete in all form and in all situations, and because I'm an expression of God, I'm also perfect and complete. I'm the beauty within that is expressed outwardly, just as the sculpture sees the beauty within the stone slab. Emerson, from the Oversoul, talks about within man is the soul of the whole, the wise silence, the universal beauty to which every part and particle is equally related, the eternal one. And this deep power in which we exist and whose beatitude is all accessible to us is not only self-sufficing and perfect in every hour, but the act of seeing and the thing seen, the seer and the spectacle, the subject and the object are one. The slab of stone around me is the substance. Thought creates the sculpting, that it changes the substance. But what is healing? Is healing the pharmaceutical, the doctor, the test results? Is it all these things? Thomas Thoreau talked about this also is where importance comes in of recognizing that the only possible originating movement of spirit must be self-contemplation. For this shows us that we do not have to contemplate existing conditions, but the divine ideal. This is just what Melissa was talking about, just going to that place of within, and that this contemplation of the divine ideal of man is the self-contemplation of the spirit from the standpoint of human individuality. I don't need to fix what's wrong with me. All I need to do is to allow spirit to work through me. I must surrender my excuses, my resistance, my victimization. I need to let go of my stories. It's amazing how that comes all. When we do not get the proper results, the only inference is that somewhere or other we have introduced something antagonistic to the fundamental principle. Have I already created the outcome in my mind because I don't believe it's possible? I don't believe I'm worthy. It's so much easier not to be disappointed again. Just leave me alone in my slab. Don't be knocking on me. It's amazing how it's just sometimes I just want to stay in my place and not to do the growth and not to do the work because I think it's just too much. But it isn't too much because Spirit is working. Spirit is doing the work. All I need is to be open to it. Robert Bitzer, each of us is a creative center of his or own individualized universe. The success of our method depends on our complete dependence of spiritual mind absoluteness. It is consciousness that heals. My spiritual mind absoluteness must be completely unrestrained to open my consciousness to do the healing. I need to turn off the monkey mind, the world of conditions, the distractions. Meditation helps, but also allowing myself to be guided and directed by Spirit, listening to my inner voice. Emma Curtis Hopkins talked about that there is no evil, there is no matter, there's no absence of life, substance, or intelligence. There's nothing to hate, there is no sin, sickness, or death. I feel like she's talking about the Christ consciousness, because we are all spiritual beings in a human shell. I think my race consciousness and thoughts get in the way of living my life in Christ consciousness. I know this way of life does exist. I know I'm a work in progress, but I also know that I am already perfect and unfolding back to that perfection. I just need to remember who I am. Healing doesn't mean that you get the answers, but perhaps it's preparing us for a much bigger plan. Isn't that amazing how that follows?
That was a pretty brilliant paper. Thank you.
To my sister.
Wow, that was
Question.
awesome.
I love how you guys brought bits into the whole
Yeah.
thing. I know, right? So a question I have, who's the person that you felt that like we've been asking
Right.
everyone?
But truthfully, I have to say Ernest, because he spoke in a language that I can relate to and I could understand better.
Right. Well, I think it's so funny that she covered all these like things that was in your paper too, and I went, oh my gosh. Yeah, they are.
I know. But we haven't talked about the paper at all, but just as she was speaking, I'm going, oh gosh, I think I have an answer.
A lot of honesty there, a lot of honesty, and just, and yeah, good.
Really great. I love the metaphor. Why do you want to go last?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, go, Jamie. Jamie goes. So Charles is up now. Jamie,
Charles
good for
is up
you.
now.
Charles is up.
Get your